Welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community, where tattoo artists, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are all encouraged to join these live streams or to watch the replays, but basically to come together, to share with each other, inspire each other, and ultimately create better tattoos and art together. This is a Monday morning, bright and early, Reinventing drawing group with Jake Meeks from the Fireside Tattoo Network. If you are interested in joining us, this is a group activity where you can beam in and create art with other awesome artists from all around the world. Often they're tattooers doing their homework, but that is not required. If you are drawing and creating art, head on over to the Reinventing the Tattoo community at either of the app stores, either the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, pick your poison, and you can download Reinventing the Tattoo. Please, the apps are brand new, so give them positive reviews so we can climb the charts there. You could also go straight to community.reinventingthetattoo.com. And after you sign up, it's pretty painless. The events link is right there. And behind the events link, you'll see the Reinventing Drawing Group listing where we have the Zoom link. If we copy paste this everywhere, then spammers should hop on board, and we don't want that. So anyways, just go straight there if you want to beam in. It's awesome. We do this every Monday morning at 9 o'clock. So we're not quite sure where you're beaming in from, either on YouTube, Facebook, or straight through the app or through Vimeo, or listening on the podcast replay. The best way is this Reinventing community or the Reinventing the Tattoo YouTube channel or the Reinventing the Tattoo podcast. So check out all of the replays. There's also a library section that has all of the videos. So that obviously the podcasts are all audio. If you want to check out what we're talking about, then go to the library, the video section of the community or the Reinventing YouTube channel. Okay, let's see. Enter to win goodie bags. We have them sending out. Thank you to Cheyenne. They sent over a ton of, or not a ton, that would be great, but they sent over a bunch of cartridges. So we are packaging them up and sending them out as we speak. If you are interested in getting a great goodie bag, then go to reinventingthetattoo.com/equinox. You have to learn how to spell it, EQUINOX. I guess I just told you if I spelled it right. Either way, Reinventing the Tattoo Equinox. You fill out the form there, and we will send you a link to an awesome two awesome videos. One that's an hour and a half of Android Jones doing amazing visuals, 3D VR-ish visuals, and Aja Lu playing live music to it. There's an hour and a half stream that you should just always be checking out. It's awesome. It'll put your squirmy tattoo clients at rest in a whole new world of distraction and relaxation. Is really awesome. There is also like a 4-hour version where Guy led a psychedelic paint jam afterwards, and it was pretty cool. There was a lot of great artists on there. They had a lot of great discussions, and on that page, you will get the link to fill out the form for your address so that we can send you a goodie bag. It's worth, they're good little goodie bags. Check them out. It also includes some raw pigments. So speaking of raw pigments, I'd like to plug our sponsors. Rawpigments.co is an acrylic-free vegan tattoo inks. They're not vegan free, they are vegan. If you go to rawpigments.co, you can check out their backstory a bit. They are tapping right into the raw pigments. That's why they're called raw pigments. And because they're acrylic free, they don't dry out. Anyways, they've got some good benefits, and a lot of people are checking them out and talking about them on these shows because they're sponsoring them. So thank you very much, rawpigments.co. Inkjet Stencils is another, for many people, game-changing way to do your stencils. Of course, there's always old schoolers that say you should always do it by hand and practice your muscle memory, and that actually is obviously very applicable. But if you want the computer alternative, or an alternative, not the alternative, inkjetstencils.com. You do all of your stencil prep on your iPad or your computer in Photoshop, and then print it straight out of your inkjet printer. They have eco-friendly tanks, so they're continuous tanks on the Epsons. They have regular-sized ones, so if you're in a busy street shop, you can just hammer that shit out really quick. Saves you time, money, and your hands. If you're doing back pieces, they actually have oversized printers, and Andre Malcolm has a great video where he's printing out a whole full back piece. He's printing out sleeves. It's pretty awesome. Andre Malcolm, check him out. Speaking of Andre Malcolm, he has a seminar coming up where he's doing a full koi sleeve design, which is going to be pretty cool. That's May 18th, but I think I'm skipping ahead. Other sponsors, tattooeducation.com and GuyAitchison.com. I mean, he's a real person, but his .com has all of his self-produced books. He's got some tattoo machines. He's got some DVDs. And of course, reinventingthetattoo.com is there's a subscription, $300 a year. It's well worth it. Not only do you have access to this massive online course, it started off as a 3-ring binder, grew into the book and the DVDs, now is a full online course with Monday exercises. So every Monday, the subscribers really are the beating heart of the Reinventing community. They come together and share their exercises. So they've got homework from the week before. They get critiqued. Often these exercises lead up to final projects. They're doing ones on like atmosphere and on lighting and all that. So by the end of it, it's just pretty amazing to watch everyone's progression. And doing these exercises once a week is watching the progress is a real true pleasure for me because I get to tune in all the time and get to see them all. In any event, you'll see a lot of the homework being done on these drawing exercises. I am just all over the place. Okay, so those exercises, an Andre's seminar, the BJ Betts and Bob Tyrell replays, the Reinventing the Tattoo Business course, all of these can be found at courses.reinventingthetattoo.com. Okay. Weekly events that we have on this community that are always happening are the Reinventing drawing groups, such as this one Monday mornings, 9 o'clock with Jake Meeks. Hopefully he'll be beaming in pretty soon. And we also have one on 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoons with Jason Liser. Liser? Jason, are you there? Liser. Not Lesser. He's more sir. Anyways, Jason is on every Mondays at 1 o'clock. What is it? How's it go?
Liser.
Liser, of course, Leeser, Liser. There's no reason to fuck that up anymore. So 1 o'clock on Sundays, join him. It's pretty awesome. And then what else do we have? Thursdays at noon, we have the Tattoo Collecting Podcast with Jordan Rookus and Fawn Baker interviewing tattoo collectors. Let's see, other upcoming special events that we have. Let's see, May 11th, that's tomorrow, Tuesday, we have Hablamos del Arte with Bruno, and he's got a lot of special guests, including Killing Moon, Juan Salgado, Alex Torres, Gio Caneda, and Juan Torres. I apologize, I'm way New England, way to hear my pronunciation is fucking horrible. Anyways, they speak Spanish. It's awesome. If you're a Spanish-speaking artist, you want to tune in, or if you don't speak Spanish but are looking to learn in the context of art and tattoos, it's pretty awesome. Es muy bueno. Let's see, we've got also a special edition for tomorrow is at 1 o'clock Eastern. We are going to be doing tattoo news from around the world. I don't know exactly the title of the series, but we're beaming in with 4 awesome artists from India. So yeah, check that out tomorrow, led by Lokesh, this panel is. So that'll be at 1 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we've got the Hablamos del Arte. I believe it's 8 o'clock. The next day, Wednesday the 12th, we've got Live in the Castro with Christina Miller. I'm not going to try to pronounce the middle name, I'm sorry. But if you go to the event schedule, you'll be able to check out the full listing of all of the upcoming events. We do have real-world events that we are both going to and producing. So let's see, October 3rd to the 6th is the Paradise BYOB back at Jiminy Peak. So far, we can have less than 100 people per room, so we'll have limited amount of tickets. There's only 100 rooms in the whole hotel anyways, so you could reserve them if you want to. We will be beaming out everything, so it'll be pretty fun. Each of the booths will actually be set up as sets to beam out, both shows like this, but also to do seminars and webinars and all of that. October 3 to 6, Jiminy Peak. Let's see. We are going to be setting up Reinventing Live over in the Brussels Tattoo Convention. That's November 12th to the 14th. And we've got a pretty cool little Reinventing Live setup. A lot of the community members and the mentors are going to be there, as well as, let's see, Nick Baxter, Ivana, and I will be doing seminars. We'll be beaming into a drink and draw or some sort of art jam. Then we will have a subscriber meetup. So if somebody, all of the European paying subscribers, we'll have do something special for y'all. And then, of course, we'll have just a general Reinventing the Tattoo community meetup so that everyone that is catching up in the chat rooms and whatnot will be able to meet in person. Speaking of chat rooms and whatnot, please let us know if this is working for you, where you're beaming in from, if you are drawing along. And obviously, this would be a great time to give it a follow, a share, all that 9 yards. I hope that it's actually working. I didn't test to make sure, but I am going to... It's working, fantastic. I'm going to hop into the background now, I believe. Oh, no. I'll talk about some 2022 events real quick. Do we have Jake in the house yet? Is Jake in?
Yeah. I'm here.
You're here.
I'm
Cool.
here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So real quick, let's see. We've got July 8th to the 10th, 2022. These are 2022 dates. I've been advised not to talk about 2022 dates until after the events would be this week. But anyways, July 8th to the 10th, 2022. Make the pencil it in. The Tattoo Art Expo, the Rock River Tattoo Art Expo, tattooartexpo.com, is going to be in Rockford, Illinois. It's about an hour and a half outside of Chicago. It's pretty close to the airport. It's on a river. It's pretty awesome. Guys going to be leading up a whole reinventing track. We'll have a tattoo room with 100 or so artists and everything that you would want from awesome conventions. Let's see, we've got the third week of October in 2022 is the Paradise Tattoo Gathering, which is the full 4-day original OG event at the OG location. And it is going to be awesome. A lot of us have been waiting a long time to have that show. And yeah, cool. So that's that. We have affiliates, the Fireside Tattoo Network. Jake Meeks will tell you all about it because he's awesome. He's got a podcast and a YouTube channel. The Apprenticeship Diaries with Amy is an awesome podcast, but not a YouTube channel yet. Apologize about that before. You can catch interviews with all of them on their channels. They're great. And I am now going to hop into the background officially. Whew.
Good job.
I had to make up for yesterday. Yesterday we had some Vimeo issues, and
how many people watch on Vimeo? Just out of curiosity. As
Vimeo,
a percentage.
It's more of a service for us to make sure that we get proper recordings and
that's right. You
redistribution.
Vimeo, right? Vimeo pushes to everything else, so it starts at Vimeo and goes out. Is that right?
Exactamundo.
Yeah, I remember doing that. The first couple of times we tried this, I'd forgotten that. So is that what Vimeo has become now? More, I mean, people don't go on there to like YouTube to watch it. They use it more as like a tool.
Well, I am sure that if we had the time to deck it out a little bit more, people would be watching on Vimeo. It's definitely more of long-formy, documentary-ish. Like, it's more filmmakers, so you want to have some pretty good quality. I don't feel like we're that far behind on the quality that people would engage in, but
Gotcha. Yeah.
But it's not the same. Obviously YouTube is like the second most used search engine in the world, owned by Google.
Right.
So there's really no competition as far as sheer numbers. But you also know it's not the number of eyeballs, it's the quality of eyeballs.
Yeah.
And,
sure.
But on the other hand, I don't know anybody that's watching on Vimeo exclusively. They'll often hit it if we're using our regular players and whatnot.
Right. Yeah. One other thing I was going to ask before we get rolling, when you were talking earlier, you were talking about tattooeducation.com. I hadn't thought about that in a little while. Is there any reason to keep that separate from Reinventing the Tattoo, or isn't it similar kind of content?
We still sell stuff off of it. We still sell webinars off of Tattoo Now. We are combining them all and moving them all towards the Reinventing the Tattoo platform.
Gotcha.
But on the other hand, there is a subtly different set of products there too. Like, not everything that's reinventing is necessarily applicable to for everything.
Right.
But there's tattoo machines. Guy's got his limited edition tattoo machine there. There's DVDs for sale, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of other people's stuff too. And mostly I realized that we were doing these intros and I was plugging everybody, except for Guy.
Except for Guy.
I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? GuyAitchison.com. And there's people that would be watching these and that wouldn't necessarily even be introduced to his work first, right? So, the people that are coming in, and we want to make sure that he gets the proper, plugs in the beginning there, because he makes this happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool. What's up, everybody? How was everyone's weekend?
What's up, man?
Did you guys have did you work is a working weekend or a play weekend? So I'm opening my project at the same time as I'm talking.
Man, for me,
Just hanging out.
is work.
Just hanging out.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Jason? Did you work?
I work every day, man. Defining work, of course, but there's not a day that goes by that I'm not working on, either homework or a side project or getting appointments together for that week or the upcoming weeks. Right now I'm just doodling on the project, the homework, but
is this
every day is a new day to improve, so I'm trying to take advantage of that.
Yeah, sure. Is this a new project for this week?
Yep. Focus on texture.
Texture.
And the creation of texture.
Yeah.
which is something I've struggled with. So.
Yeah, you guys have done that some before, right? There have been other texture exercises, haven't there?
One or two. We did 6 weeks on it, and just looking at different textures, looking at different lighting. The difference between smooth textures, reflective surfaces, rough textures, and then we started to get into light and how light plays off of it. So it's getting pretty in depth, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because we're exploring a whole bunch of different routines and a whole bunch of different, concepts that like most people don't ever really take the time to focus on. Right? They don't sit down and do focus studies on just texture. They don't do focus studies on, say, reflective material. I don't know about you, man, but I tried to paint aluminum foil.
Yeah.
And it is one of the hardest things I have ever tried to paint in my life.
Yeah, sure.
I really do equate it to, it's like, martial arts was the last thing that I quit doing, right? But watching people go through reinventing every week, it really is like watching them go to the art gym, right? And if you really make the analogy, it's like, well, you could always practice your martial arts by yourself at your, I do some push-ups every now and, or I call them smoke-ups every time I go smoke, do some push-ups, but like that's completely different, than training, with somebody who's guiding you through what helped him, and so I do really equate it to people that are going to the gym or doing the martial arts training or the dance training or whatever it is that you're doing that's physically making you more aware and better in an organized manner. It's just really tremendous to see the effect of some people's the work already, even just seeing people a year later. It's pretty amazing.
You guys are absolutely right, and that's true. Most people don't sit and spend a lot of time practicing really specific techniques like that, like working just on how to paint aluminum foil, and then you see someone pull it off and you're like, oh, that looks pretty straightforward, or like you may not even really consider it. You're like, oh, that's cool, it's like an apple wrapped in aluminum foil. Who's that dude that does that so well? This morning show is just turned into calling out artists that do things really well. What's that oh, do you know the dude that paints fruit so well that every once in a while he'll wrap it in aluminum foil? David Shevitz, you know him?
Yes.
Man, this stuff is so crazy, and he makes it look like effortless. It just looks like he's like taking a palette knife and just dropping chunks of gray and white down, and you're like, oh yeah, I can do that. But you can't.
How do you spell his last name?
It's CHEIFTZ, maybe. David. If you, I bet if you got him.
I got him.
Yeah, he does. You may have.
Oh shit! I'm getting podcasts first. Isn't that funny?
Oh really? He has a podcast.
Or he's on a podcast.
Oh yeah. There's that first page. The teal one has some aluminum foil. It looks like. Let's see. I bought one of his.
Whoa, holy schmoly! That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, they're cool, man. I bought one of his demos where he paints just like a green base.
Oh, that's gonna get us banned.
Yeah. I thought there was one with the.
Damn! Look at all this shit. This is fucking great.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Could you imagine like learning how to tattoo with this shit at your disposal now?
Right.
Like this is out of control, and it's also kind of scary. Like everybody that is not a fucking sick artist that gets an opportunity to land at a shop, in 10 years it'll be people. You'll have to have a skill level like this, I think, for people to let you in. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's great. One of those you just passed had a lot of aluminum foil in it, I think.
Oh, sorry, I just got fucking lost in it.
No, that's cool. There's some aluminum foil. Yeah, that's not easy to do. One thing I noticed, the first little free, YouTube thing I ever watched him do, he just like starts with straight color with a ton of it with a palette knife, and then he even starts like at his highlight and works out. So he starts with like his brightest, highest key stuff and works, and then mutes down from there. I've never really seen anyone do that, but it's fast.
These are his demos.
Yeah. I can't remember which one I bought, but it was well worth it. It's one of those paintings that I watched him go through. It's like maybe a 3-hour, 4-hour demo.
It was a 3-hour demo. A 3-hour demo.
Yeah, that dude's awesome. So many good ones out there.
Real quick, Mohammed is asking, do you know any online courses? So, of course, I mentioned the courses.reinventing the tattoo. Jake, you want to mention some of your online courses?
Yeah, I actually just went through. I'm working on redoing our. I've been back and forth on whether I should finish out one of our new courses or redo old ones first. But I'm going to start with a redo of our foundations course. So I went through and I watched the original one, and I guess I hadn't seen it in so many years that I just assumed that it was horrible. But it's really pretty good. It's not like it's in 720 and the audio is not super great, but it's better than I thought it was. And anyone who gets it will get the new one as soon as it comes out. The one thing about foundations is it's a drawing focused course, but for tattooers. So it starts with shapes, values, edges, and colors. And one mistake that I think I made with it the first time around is I focused it. I didn't pull in tattoo stuff early enough on. And I think that kind of gets discouraging to people who just want tattoo tricks and stuff like that. So this time I'm doing it digitally. Instead of doing big lump charcoal and all that kind of stuff, I'm doing it digitally. And we're pulling it straight into tattooing from the very start. And it'll be shorter. The last one was like 5 or 6 modules. I'm trying to cut it down to really the kind of meat and potato. That Find Your Style thing is that we don't have as a standalone course yet. We're doing it just with small groups of artists, 6, 8 people at a time. And Andy and I do have another one of those coming up. But Foundations, I think the original one is better than I thought it was. Yeah, sometimes I got nervous to even go back and watch it for a year or so because I was like, man, I don't even want to see how bad this course is. Then I went back and I was like, oh no, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I did the same thing with the business courses. So I went through and now the Reinventing the Tattoo Business has all of my old webinars.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy, we'll see, And again, of course, Instagram changes, and, all the social medias go pretty fast. The real fundamentals don't change though. It's like high quality content, using each platform to its fullest so that you can engage its users. It doesn't make a difference whether that's a tattoo magazine, a newspaper, a classified, or whatever the new platform may be.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, to answer Mohammed's question, there are tons out there. It depends on obviously what you're looking for. I always push drawing courses over tattoo courses if possible, because it's just so hard to teach people to tattoo online. And there's no good reason for it if you take the time to seek out a good mentor. Then you
And nearly everybody's problems can be solved with art too. I mean, I'm sure there's obviously technical issues with some of the tattoos. That's what Drunk Critique's for. But as far as like,
no, Drunk Critique is not for that. Don't lie. Do not go there.
Okay. So we also
I made that mistake. Okay, that's not happening again.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay, so let's see what else we've got. Caroline Evans says good morning. She's a regular watcher. Sometimes comes in, so feel free to join in, Caroline. You know where the links are.
Yeah.
Again, my pronunciation is horrible, but Mahayaka is saying hello from Romania, to which I always reply back, we love Romania, because Kosti brought me over there once, but then I'm always realizing that as I say that, I'm answering as Jake from Fireside Tattoo Network. So if anybody ever asks how Romania is,
I'll tell them it was awesome.
Yeah, Kosti still owes you a trip over. No, okay, so let's see. Jason says, hey, everyone. Oh, that's Jason. Hey, Jason. Adam Lee's asking, is anyone getting the new iPad? I guess there's a brand new iPad coming out.
I haven't looked at it. What's different about it?
It's new and it's shiny from Apple.
That's an Apple product.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I'm still using the first generation of the iPad Pro, the one that you have to plug the pin in the bottom of it. So I probably will stick with that for a little while longer. I did upgrade to this the new MacBook though with that new processor, and it's been awesome. It's really surprised me how fast it renders video. Like if you've used to, I would finish an edit, click, to render it out and then just go to bed. and get up the next morning and start uploading it to YouTube. But now it's like I can go make a cup of coffee and I come back and it rendered like 2 minutes, like a 40-minute podcast will render it at 1080 in like 2 or 3 minutes. It's crazy with camera cuts, with drop-ins, with edited audio, you know, like all that stuff. It's crazy fast.
I need to get a new computer, I guess, at some point. Although I'm not complaining. This little R2D2 computer has been doing me just fine.
Yeah, yours was a pretty high-end computer in its day, right?
It was I think the highest end Mac you could actually have gotten at the time. It was the only time I didn't max out the RAM. Like in 25 years, you know, of buying computers, 100% always max out the RAM. Like the performance for the value of the money that's spent, maxing out RAM is just a no-brainer every fucking time if you're doing development on something. As well as screen real estate, the 2 monitors. I was working with another freelance computer program or computery guy, and he just got a second monitor. I'm like, man, second monitors max out the RAM. Like just scientifically, your productivity, you know, goes up tremendously. But with this Mac, it was like, you know, I told, you know, I think whoever it was at the time, they were buying it. I was like, max out the RAM. They're like, dude, I'm not so sure we should max out the RAM. I'm like, max out the fucking RAM. Like, you know, it's kind of expensive. I'm like, I don't care how expensive it is. Max it out. I've never not maxed it out. They're like, it's an extra $2,000.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh. So wait, $2,500. You know, like it's like $1,500 in RAM and like $3,500 in RAM or something. And it was a difference between like 32 gigs and 64, or 64 and 128. Honestly, I'm so weird with my computers. I don't even know. All I know is that you should max out your RAM unless. And point being is, yes, the computer was fucking my computer geek purchase of the decade. But you know, now I see everybody else hopping on their new cameras and you know, their new portables that are equal. And I don't know. I still got 2 years out of it.
Yeah. I forget what I was trying to see what my RAM actually was on this, and I forget. I don't remember if I maxed it out or if I went. I can't tell. But apparently, with this new M1 chip or whatever, that it doesn't have like separate processor, graphics card, all that stuff. It's all in one, and so I guess everything kind of works together. It's like the Scrum method of computing or something like that. But I don't know. I did Jason, we were talking last week about, or a couple of weeks ago, about having multiple monitors running out of an HD port and all that. And can you guys see this thing right here? I bought let me see if it'll focus. Hold on. I bought this what's it called? CalDigit that was super highly recommended on B&H Photo as a to replace my kind of all-in-one, you know, it's everything. It's got multiples. It's got like 9 USBs at all different speeds. It's got multiple display ports. It's got HDMIs. It was like maybe $300, $270 or something like that. But everybody, it came over the weekend. I haven't even plugged it up yet. I just got back in town late yesterday, but and it was here. But I'm hoping that thing, and it will actually charge, because what I'm doing right now, I'm using an external little what do you call these things that read? You plug it into your Thunderbolt and it reads everything. Whatever that thing's called.
Adapter, converter.
An adapter. Yeah. So I'm using one, but I have to plug in. I have to charge my Mac using my second port. I only have 2 ports, and this one charges through that CalDigit thing. So I have another available port. It opens up one on my Mac. And I first saw it with that dude Caleb that I'm always talking about from DSLR Video Shooter, who's like the guru of anything you want to know, audio and video. But I first saw it from him. Finally ordered it last week, and I'm excited to hook it up and try it today. See if I can get some multiple HD monitors going and see how this new Mac handles it.
Oh yeah, awesome. Okay, so see, Luke is beaming in from Adelaide, Australia.
My best buddy Damian Klingberg is from Adelaide, Australia. Do they know? Does Luca know the Klingbergs?
We'll find out.
All right.
I did a tattoo convention down there where the bikies obviously run a lot of things, so then people hate the bikies. And I literally saw at the after hours party of the tattoo convention, the bouncer came by and stopped Nico and Tony Rommel from showing off their tattoos to each other.
Oh wow.
It's just like, damn, man, you can walk barefoot in the fucking grocery stores, which is awesome, but you can't talk about tattoos. Not awesome.
Wow. Really? That what? This was at the convention or someplace
It
else?
was the after hours party, so it was at a restaurant bar kind of place afterwards. It was the official after hours party, you
Oh
know.
wow. Yeah.
But the scene there was just so anti-tattoo. It was pretty crazy to actually experience actual legitimate, stereotyping and
Wow. That's
but,
crazy. Huh.
you know,
That's in Australia?
that was Australia. It was like 10 years ago, but it was only like 10 years ago.
Huh. Yeah, nuts.
I guess Luke will let us know if that's changed anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know if
So
that
see,
changed. And
Who
then
else we
also,
had? Sorry.
no, I was going to say, and also say hi to the Klingbergs. I think the rest of them are still there. I've got one of them here in Memphis. He's my drinking buddy.
Nice. Oh, geez, Australian drinking buddies.
Yeah, he gets more Australian the more that he drinks. He's been here for close to 20 years. So he's American Australian now until he starts drinking.
So he's got the fight out of him, or is he fighting?
Yeah, now he's more of a lover than a fighter for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see some other people. We've got Melanine's beaming in from a place called the Isle of Man, where there's no good tattoo shops at all. Hopefully, if there's any, they won't get mad at you now. Is that off Scotland? Is that the Isle of Man off Scotland's coast?
It's in between Ireland and Scotland.
Ah, yeah, awesome. We should do a.
Yeah, it's like a tiny little offshoot island.
I wonder how many people live on it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see any other. Let me just check. Well, you carry on. I'll see if there's any pipe in later.
Hey, Ricardo and friend. I don't know your name.
That's Kira.
Hi, I'm Kirsten.
Hey, Kirsten. Nice to meet you. What are you guys working on?
She's working on homework.
Oh yeah, I'm doing homework.
Homework for Reinventing or for? Oh yeah, sweet. That's looking nice. So is the texture assignment skull specific or just any texture?
We had like a rock reference, and we were supposed to do a texture based off like that rock type deal.
Yeah. Sweet. That's looking nice. What are you working on, Ricardo?
Working for this tattoo that I got coming up this week. We're gonna be starting a half sleeve of like horror movie stuff.
Oh yeah, cool. That'll be fun.
Yeah, and then I got to do some Jason Voorhees stuff and Mike Myers and everything. So,
all right. So I have a real challenge for you on this that almost no one that does this stuff pulls off. Can you keep it from just looking like a collage of horror movies? Is there any way to make it look like things are happening at the same time in the same world?
That's what I'd like to try to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was talking to him about like getting some action shots in there somehow. Like, I don't know, man. I don't even know how I'd start to approach that. I guess. I mean, we kind of have to set them in the same setting, right?
Yeah. Or at the very least, like, I don't know, like if you have the sewer grate from Pennywise, then maybe like something else is interacting with the sewer. I don't know. It could probably be as simple as that, but most of the time people just take still shots in the movie and stack them.
Yeah,
Stackable portrait syndrome.
Right, exactly.
And I definitely don't want to do that. And that's kind of the path that he wants to go. You know what I mean? Because he's been looking at all the reference online, and he sent me nothing but tattoos. And I'm like, well, let's just try to change it up a little bit. So I'm trying to work on that right now. And I did discuss with him about adding other elements from the movie, like little subtle nods to it that if you're a real fan that you'd be able to pick up. You know what I mean? And the craziest part is I'm not really that big into horror, so I'm kind of having to like thumb around through Google and the synopsis of the movies and stuff and like picking them all up. You know what I mean? So so I am just trying to take from like actual other pictures that I would look up, like those elements, like the sewer grate. I just looked that up and kind of, got a little sailboat in there and try to draw it in and stuff like that. So I'll try my best, man. And
well, another big trick with that is if they want it to be like, a lot of times people want that stuff to be photorealistic, and then it gets really difficult because you're trying to like invent things that aren't, and then make them look like they belong with the photo stuff. So you almost have to go more illustrative or something, or at least stylize things where they look the same. Because if you're doing like still shots from movies, the chances that they're like filmed the same in the same type of like color setting or everything about those still shots might be completely different. So I think the only way to really pull that off is just to go through and draw the whole thing using all those still shots as reference, which is a lot.
I agree. Yeah, it is. It's a lot of work, but it'd be worth it if we can pull it off, man. So that'll be the goal.
It's a first time client.
Yeah, first time client. I've tattooed friends of his and everything like that, so he's seen a lot of my work, and that's the thing. Everything else that I've done on the people he knows have all been drawings that I've done for them too. So
Yeah.
you know, it's almost like one of those things where it's like he's seen a pretty decent tattoo, so he's like, well, this guy can do this stuff too. No problem. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's the Xerox copier machine mentality starts to kind of kick in. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah,
it always interests me whenever you get referrals like that, because people will see a tattoo that you did, maybe say it's done in like a different style, right? Mm-hmm. Say you do something that's really, really nice and it's very fine line work. Maybe it's got some stipple shading, or, you know, it's super bold color, but very illustrative. And they're like, oh, well, that tattoo turned out great. Maybe I'll go to them to get this photorealist piece, right? But they see your body of work and they see that you don't do that. But they still want to come to you for that piece anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and it's like sitting down and trying to explain to them, like, listen, that's not really what I do. Can I do it? Yes. But are there people out there that could do it way better? Absolutely. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get a lot of people coming to me for portraiture, and that's not anything close to what I do. I have a lot more work to do in that. So I'll say, hey, listen, we can take your idea and, you know, I'll kind of do it in my way. And if you like it, great. If you don't, well, I will be happy to give you some recommendations of other people to go to. But if you're looking for this specific realism or like hyper realism style, I'm not your guy.
Yeah.
I have a lot more work to do, and I know that.
Yeah, and the chances of you ever being like a super high level portrait artist are probably pretty slim, because if that's not what you're focused on, you know. So probably there's no reason probably for you to even put that effort in, since it's not really what you're you know, what you're shooting for anyways. One thing that I find, I get the same thing, you know, where people think if they see, you know, one tattoo you do that you can do anything. And we just don't have, I apologize if there are other Memphis tattooers watching this, but we just don't have great portrait artists in Memphis. I mean, not at the level that what people expect to see these days. So whenever people ask for portrait work, I always refer them to other cities. And it's like, you should just see their responses. They're just like, what? Like, why would I go to another city to get a portrait of my daughter? It's like, well, I mean, I don't know. How much do you love your daughter?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, seriously.
Do you want her to look like your daughter, or like somebody that could be related to your daughter?
Right. Yeah. That's like, so, you know, a little bit of that is just training people to think that, you know, and I upsell, you know, getaway tattoo, like, you know, tattoo trips or whatever. It's like, man, if I can find a reason to go someplace and get tattooed by someone awesome, I would way rather do that than just go to a shop in my own town anytime. But
yeah.
Sure. Speaking of which, I'm getting tattooed next week. I leave next Thursday to head back to Virginia to get my piece worked on by Andy. So I'll try to post some updates of that. Yeah, I'm really excited. Hopefully make some. We've gotten to this point where, you know, I normally I don't get mad at people for doing this to me, but I'm doing it to Andy now, where we've done this piece that starts at my neck and it goes to my kneecaps. But then if you look at my calf tattoos and like my rib panel, that like my whole front's tattoos. So I've got these like slits on my ribs that are open. I've got little slits on the tops of my shoulders where it's not connecting. And I've got like pieces from my back of my knee to my ankles. So it's like, man, why don't we just fill all of the rest of this? What am I going to do with these little spaces? So now he's got the challenge of like piecing, like framing this thing. Yeah.
But that's
go ahead.
I was going to say, that's the seam for the when the Undertaker's skinning you, they could just kind of go right around.
That's where they can get everything. Yeah.
I do want to I'm trying to find a company that does that. That's not freaky. I mean, but there's a couple that are out there to. We definitely have to interview some skin preservers.
Yeah. Wow, what a crazy, that's a great idea. Hey, Gabe, speaking of which, this dude reached out to me and he said, I was slow to respond to him. And by the time I got back, he said that he had talked to you as well. But apparently this like Texas-based like IP attorney for tattoo rights. Yeah, I told, he was like, I've been talking to Gabe, maybe we can focus on different things in the two interviews. And I told him that would be easy, that you and I interview the same people all the time. I was like, we could just find, I was like, probably the three of us could start a Google Doc and just lay out bullet point topics, and we could just like cherry pick topics to go through to have 2 different shows.
100%. No, it seemed like if there's a lawyer that actually is interested in the tattoo world, it's definitely worth, at least seeing how far that goes.
Yeah. It's funny that he brought that guy reached out just before this whole NFT explosion, like just before I'd heard what the term NFT even meant. Sean Bellina had mentioned to me the possibility of using NFTs for tattoo ownership, being able to sell, whatever, to provide some type of ownership for physical tattoos, which is crazy because, NFTs are for digital things and tattoos being real. And so he started to try to explain it, but over WhatsApp, it got a little confusing. But I may see if I can get him to pitch in on that as well.
Yeah, it feels like for me, the client owns the tattoo. I mean,
Sure.
That's, they pay for the tattoo. I mean, regardless even of payment, it's in their body,
Right.
So at least the way that I was kind of taught, and, and I learned those lessons kind of the hard way when my very first real tattooer, a year or two after, I was like, I'm going to have one of your other friends, one of the other people at the tattoo shop cover, rework or cover this old tattoo that you did. I'd be like, you don't mind, do you? He's like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And at first I took a little offense. I'm like, you don't even give a fuck. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I mean, okay, I got it. But it was very much like, it's your skin. Like, there's no ownership. There really can't be too. I mean, and I guess I'm not an artist per se. So it's like, I don't have the inkling to have any ownership over the piece of work that I put inside of somebody else's body. Mm-hmm. But the fact is, it's inside somebody else's body. So that's it. Like, I don't give copyright or anything, kind of be damned. Like, it's just part of someone else's body now. And if it's like your image that they have in their body, you should frankly just naturally be honored that somebody gave a shit enough about your image to put it inside of their body.
Yeah. I think probably the only place that gets a little bit tricky is with either celebrities or people who their tattoos become part of their like brand or something. And then the artist is like, man, I only made $75 on that. And now it's like super famous, like the Tyson face tattoo is the biggest one.
Yeah, whatever. But that's on his body.
Yeah. Like, no, I agree. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that's where I think if there becomes a discussion, that's probably what it's centered around. I years ago, before any of this, so I've been tattooing. If you guys never heard of a guy named Tim Howard, he's the goalkeeper for the U.S. soccer team. He's their World Cup team. He played for Manchester United and Everton forever. And I've been tattooing him for a long time. And I had to sign off on a photo shoot for Gatorade one time. That it was just something they were doing at that particular time, I guess. And the thing is like the dude's on the cover of GQ and everything else. I've never had to do it again. That was probably 10 years ago that I had to sign off for my tattoos to be featured. So it's almost like companies thought it might be an issue and then it wasn't. Yeah, that's him. So I've done a shit ton of work on that guy. And see that like there's a magazine that says ADVE. Like I didn't have to sign off for any of that for that. And that's like a photo cover, but I did for Gatorade.
Yeah. I mean, lawyers like to get paid to make people sign shit,
Yeah.
Yeah. Frankly.
Yeah. Kind of crazy.
It was good. At first, when I was talking to that guy, I was a little bit, about copyrights and all that. I was like, well, I'm pretty sure that, like, just by using stuff, you kind of have a copyright registered, don't you? Or copyright. I guess I might just use the word registered or not. And he was like, well, yeah, you do, but like if somebody tries to use it, you'd have to register it. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. So ultimately, I was like, well, why don't you put me on your sales list? Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Hey, I've got Andy Chambers' work lined up here too, so let me fire him up. You can talk about him a little more.
Oh yeah, sweet. Yeah, we need to get him on doing something. He's just so dang flaky.
Yeah,
he's not flaky. When he's into something, he's in it. But man, just getting him to like slow down enough to respond is a challenge. He has more like applicable tricks that he can share than anyone I've ever really known. Like he just, anytime you ask him or like whatever, I'll just make a comment on something. I'm not even asking for a trick. I'll just make a comment on something that he does and he'll be like, oh, I'll tell you, if anytime you're doing this, just try this. Or like, he was the first one, this thing that is actually a crazy cover up that you can't tell. I saw the before of this one. But he has more great tricks than anyone that I've ever known. I need to get him to share more of them. My Apple Pencil's not going to work with my Cintiq.
Is he pretty responsive via social media, or is it more
No,
email? Or...
he's not responsible via phone call, text message, email,
Like
nothing. Nothing. There's nothing responsive about that guy. I'll
just
text
have to
him.
find him in person.
Yeah, I'll text him, and then like 2 days later, he'll respond like there wasn't any time between me texting him. You know, like not like, "Hey, dude, sorry to be so late." He's just like responds like I just sent the message.
This is 2019, right? So that means that like whatever we're like 6 pictures down.
Yeah, he doesn't. He never posts anything. Go down that purple dragon. Yeah, that was actually I think that's on the dude with the purple dragon. If you go down to that purple dragon a little ways back, I saw this one healed in person in Richmond. Keep going a little further. A little further. You're getting close to it because that's a picture. Okay, right there. Either that one right there. Let that one play through a time or two and check out these scales. The scales in the background, like the atmospheric kind of scales that change colors a little.
I love that.
This is on another tattooer that actually until recently I think worked at Loose Screw with Jesse Smith.
Cool.
Yeah, Chris Jenkins, that's his name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know him?
Chris, yeah. I mean, I know him through the Screw.
Yeah.
He's an illustrator. He did the caricatures before, maybe, or is it the other guy?
Oh, I think that's I know the guy you're talking about. He's awesome. Not that Chris isn't, but that dude.
Yeah, they're all awesome. Anybody kind of that goes through Loose Screw seems to be pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, I just like this one right here, I saw settled and all this purple settled into kind of like grays. And it was just absolutely stunning. I mean, it looks incredible there. I think it may even look better settled in. But and it took second on bodysuit. I couldn't freaking believe that.
Second?
Yeah. That's how good that.
Who won?
I want to say Gogwe won. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I'm pretty
love
sure.
His use of negative space.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, me too. And he talks about, you know how I've mentioned some, I kind of steal it from him about taking like whenever I'm laying out my shapes, like maybe starting at the elbow and then making a mark there and then making another mark up at the armpit and then just trying to find clever ways to like connect the two. That's how he does his negatives. He uses a lot of big French curves and stuff, but he'll try to find ways to do it that he's never done it before. So like he doesn't just make the same French curves. He'll just sit and play with shapes until he has something that looks kind of new. And a lot of times it seems like he's doing that before he's even like drawing the imagery. He's just finding ways to kind of pull those negatives through the body.
All right. Well, if we're not going to go to up to Canada for the next one after him, I'm going to go to Triansky.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He's awesome. I never met him. He had just left your shop like weeks before I came up.
That was rough.
Yeah.
These guys are cool. Trying to find. He could pretty much nail every style too, which is one of the unique things about him. Like whatever it is that he understands is like real fundamental. I swear he could tattoo you half black and fucking be better than anyone else could tattoo you half black.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And his paintings are fucking unbelievable. Let me do a little rapid scrolling for his paintings. That's pretty cool. But there's let's see. Come on, painting. Obviously, all this stuff is just out of control. So yeah, here we go.
Just amazing. Yeah, so good.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
He painted that off the map. Watching that, both of these he kind of did in this era. Whatever.
Yeah, man. Yeah, see there, last week we were talking about Casey Ball and everything around the majority of the painting being dark, and that's what makes the lights look so light. Mm-hmm. That one you just passed is an perfect example of that. See, like everything, even the light, even the green lights, what on the side, or what we're looking at is the top, the green background lights, even that stuff is dark, compared to the real highlight there in the center. And if you just made those green highlights in the background up top lighter, it would completely distract from the main highlight, That's what I always mess up on.
I looked at this painting for like 3 days straight at Hell City, and by the third day, I don't think I saw anything new in it. But I wouldn't be surprised if I saw if I took a break and went back to it, I would.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's try to pull up a texture thing, texture trick real quick that Baxter showed me, but I'm doing a bad job of it.
Psyched to head over to Belgium with Baxter.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that is October as well. That's like weeks before, a month before your event, right?
It's like a month before, yeah. 3 to the 6th, and then 12 to the 14th. 3 to the 6th of October, 12 to the 14th of November.
Yeah. Are there? I meant to ask this too earlier. Are there? Is there a site that has all like the stuff for Paradise for 2022? Is all that stuff up yet? Like with
No, none of it's up yet. I've got 2022. Yeah, no. Although I think that Marcus Leonard and Kaya Heitland have the poster.
Oh, sweet.
Pretty much done. I mean, it was for a previous event that we're going to adapt. But no, I've realized actually as I'm starting to list off stuff in the beginning of these intros now, I'm like, oh shit, I'm entering the very little sleep zone myself for the next year or two.
Yeah. That's exciting, though.
It's pretty fun to be, able to work on real world events again. I mean, I love the digital stuff and I could do this indefinitely if I had to, but thinking just by getting everybody together around the campfire again is like, pretty fun.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Still a little freaked out. Tattoo the Lou was this weekend.
I missed it, and I didn't. I hope I didn't get in trouble because I thought I had responded and said I wasn't coming, and then I saw they posted some stuff about me having availability, and I was like, oh shit. So I ignored it. I pretended like I didn't see that, and I didn't say anything. and then I started getting text messages and like emails from people over the weekend asking what time I was getting in. And I was like, oh crap. So
there was definitely a booth set up.
There was a booth set up for sure. Yeah. So I guess I need to reach out to LT and apologize. I thought for sure that I had emailed and said I wasn't going to come. I just kind of let it sneak up on me. And at the time, I just wasn't sure that I wanted to be in a convention center,
Oh yeah. I'm at this point fully vaccinated. I guess I have maybe another couple days, for the full effects. But I'm not really ready to dive right into fucking germ city. I mean, there's just no real. The upsides don't necessarily outweigh the. I mean, I guess there's not that much risk if you're fully covered and everyone's got masks inside or whatever. But. Well, sooner rather than later, I guess. I mean, people were there. I talked to people that were, there having a good time.
I didn't talk to anyone after it started. Did they say it went well? That there were actually people coming through the door and everything?
I didn't necessarily chat attendance, but it seemed like everyone was pretty busy. And the guy that I was talking to was a laser removal guy, one of the guy's clients, and. Yeah, he was, a little apprehensive about his first convention back. Mostly if people are going to, enjoy it or whatever with all the new regulations and whatnot. But I imagine that the fact that everyone's like seeing each other and shit and probably outweighed the fact that they had to have masks on inside.
Yeah. Oh, they did have to wear masks the entire time inside?
I believe I don't know. I guess I don't want to, speak for someone's convention that I wasn't at.
Gotcha. Do you know LT very well? Have you ever spent any time with him?
He did a guest spot up at Off the Map. I've talked to him on and off through the years. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know him particularly well. I met him the one time we did Tattoo the Lou. He was super nice, kept coming by and checking in on us and everything. But and I spent one night kind of hanging with him at the bar. But I don't remember that conversation all that well, to be honest. So.
Sure. I've always had a fine time with him. I don't know him exceptionally well. Like I said, he came through. We had I don't have any bad stories or anything about him. I know that he had the cannabis leaves tattooed on his face, but he was not smoking at the time. So I was like, oh, okay,
that's interesting.
I bet a lot of people will ask you. I don't know what how it's rolling out, but he clearly the people that he puts in the Tattoo the Lou and the venue seems to be really awesome. And everyone has always been pretty complimentary of the show. So it's definitely one that I would want to hit up at some point.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it the year I went. That's why I felt bad about missing it, and I definitely need to reach out so I don't get like banned or anything, because it's such a close drive. It's really, it's like 4 or 5 hours from me, and St. Louis is a cool town too. It's just a fun place to go.
I hear the venue is pretty sick too. It's the old train station, maybe. Or...
Man, it's so cool. They've redone the whole train station, and the great thing about it is that it's like super high ceilings and it's all glass. It's almost like a greenhouse or something. So there's like, the biggest issue for me and tattoo conventions is I can never see. I never have enough light, no matter where they put me. And that I didn't even need my light. I brought lamps and everything. I barely even used them. It was like perfectly clear and bright in the entire venue. So that was cool.
Jake, what are you using for lighting now?
I've got 2 big cheap soft boxes that I got from Cowboy Lighting. It's like I got 2 lights and carrying cases for like $80, and they're just big soft boxes. And then I upgraded. They came with pretty big fluorescent fixtures. I switched them out for big LED fixtures, or sorry, not fixtures, lights, bulbs. And then I have this light that I bought at Hell City, Columbus, because I couldn't see, because they put me in that room with the velvet curtains and chandeliers and stuff. And so I had to go buy a light there. And it was just, I was going to get the one that everyone uses, is it Glamcore or whatever?
Yep.
So they were out of those. So I ended up buying like a floor lamp that's just an LED light that has like a little, it's got like I forget the brand of it, but it's got like a tray and a charger for an iPad. So I use it all the time, just mainly to hold my iPad and for a close-up light. But the one thing I did years ago is I switched all of my lights out to be the same temperature. And that was a good move. I'm glad I did that.
Interesting.
What are you guys using?
I've been using a Glamcore.
Yeah. Most everyone I know uses those and likes them.
I got a big ass ring light.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's super.
I've never used the ring lights before.
It's not too bad once you get it in the right spot. It's just kind of tricky figuring out how it's going to hang over the client. I've been thinking about trying to hang it from the ceiling, or at least a couple of them. It puts out pretty even light, but like I said, you have to kind of get it in the right spot. Right now, it's like on a tripod, and it just kind of gets in the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's the trickiest part, is finding stuff that can, be elevated out of the way of the chair or your knees or whatever. So.
Yeah, one thing that I just did, I used those cheap Cowboy lights for the soft boxes from Cowboy Lighting forever. I finally ditched the stands they came on because they were really lightweight and they would fall pretty easily. So I finally ditched those stands and I switched to like $100, $120 C stands from either, I forget if it was Amazon or B&H, and that made a huge difference. And just now in the last few weeks, I put those C-stands, I bought C-stand rollers. So I put the C-stands on actual wheels, which has been super cool. That's mainly more for the camera stuff though, because I use the C-stands to hold the lights, the cameras, if I need to hold a mic. Yeah, that's the good thing about C-stands, you can use them for everything.
C-stand. All right.
You know what that is?
No, I'm looking it up right now.
It's like a grip. It's like for audio. It's like grip equipment for, photo shoots and movies and stuff like that.
That's perfect, man.
Yeah, they're great.
Kind of like has that extendable arm that hangs out over, right?
Yeah, you can shoot it way over, and then you can grab. A lot of times the C-stands will come with, or you can add sandbags, and you just fill them up with like playground sand and throw them over the feet of the C-stand, and then you can like really extend that thing way out over your client and drop the light or the camera or whatever like straight down for like a top-down shot. Well worth it. Yeah, they're well worth it.
Are you getting it with the light or just the stand itself?
Nah, just the stand. I already had the light. You can just get cheap softbox lights. That I'm sure they have cheap ones at on Amazon or B&H, but I got mine, like I said, through that. It was called Cowboy Lighting, I think. Yeah.
Thanks, man. That's awesome. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. This is terrible because I'm talking and going at the same time, but I was going to show you guys this this horrible example real quick of divots, like texture divots. Let me me switch over to my, I have to turn on the virtual camera. Hold on, let me turn on my OBS virtual camera so you can see my desktop real quick. Start virtual camera. Shit, it's already 9:02. That was fast. Okay. I'll jump off after this. OBS virtual camera. Baxter showed me this a while back. If you can zoom in on it. Well, that looks like nipple.
It's not bad at all.
That's a little dugout hole right there, man.
Nice.
Wait, unmute yourself. Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Could you guys not hear me?
No.
Sorry. Okay, so I didn't mean to make these look like nipples. This was just the color that was already on my thing. So Baxter showed me this when he was doing textures on my hand like years ago, 15 years ago probably. But he was talking about the difference in like if something is lit the same way in a texture and it's a recess versus something that's protruding out and how the highlight lands. So the top one obviously is the light's coming from the top, but it's a divot, it's a recess in the surface. So the light catches on the bottom lip of it, and there's a cast shadow from the top side of it. And then on the one that's actually protruding out, the light catches, it's opposite. The light catches on the top of it, and then there's a cast shadow on the bottom, the form shadow on the bottom of it. And maybe even a cast shadow under that if it sticks out enough. So you may find that there's even a darker, let me say, you might find that there's even like a darker shadow under here, depending on how much it kind of shoots out. See what I mean? If that makes any sense, that's a little bit too dark. But anyways, like, since you guys are all drawing texture stuff, that was like a thing that if you're doing a lot of textural stuff and the ones you want to stand out, you can kind of make the divots and the what am I trying to say? The concave and convex, right?
Correct.
Yeah, concave. Yeah. So you can like show the difference in concave and convex really clearly by using a simple light source and where that highlight actually strikes the shape. Cool.
Yeah, one thing I've been getting into using a lot more lately is Russ Abbott came out with the spit shade set.
Yeah.
They've got one tool in it called the Magic Spit Shader.
Oh yeah.
And it's awesome. I mean, you got to play with like the opacity settings to control the amount of flow that you have in it.
Mm-hmm.
But, just as like a little example, say I was going to do like a forehead divot, I would go through and basically just like notch in some dark areas. And then with the Magic Spit Shader, if you have it set up correctly, it allows you to move it around like it's paint on a canvas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it does blur it out a tiny bit, and you can always adjust that. But just by taking that and sweeping it down and out, just like you would if you were doing like actual spit shading, doing that a few different times in a few different places at different sizes and whatnot.
Yeah. And it actually is helpful, probably helpful that it blurs it, because then you get to go back and pull your sharper edges out.
Really
You don't
tighten it up. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't end up with a lot of really in focus texture, which could be chaos. I'm with you on that. I'll do that some using some of his tools, where I'll just like go through, lay a big swab of like airbrush color, and then come through and smudge it a little bit, and then grab one of those types of tools as an eraser and come back and just kind of drop it in as an eraser and get, see what kind of effects I get like that. Just kind of push and pull. But
add tiny little highlights here and there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Okay, it's 6 after. It's Monday. I gotta go to the gym, but that was a good one. We learned all kinds of stuff.
Hey, do you have any conventions or any events that you have planned?
I've got nothing. I've got nothing until whatever I do with you guys. I think we're just gonna. I'm going to focus on some of these courses. In fact, I may take a little hiatus of putting like new fireside stuff out. I met with Scott last week, and we talked about taking these morning episodes and just clipping like highlights of them and doing little 10-minute drops each week of or 15, whatever it is, of just some of these, just so that so I can focus on a few of these courses and workshop type things instead of so much on doing interviews. So we may. I'm not going to do any events for a little while, and I'm going to try to like knock out a few of these things that have been on my plate for too long. We finished up that Carson Hill series last week, which I was a little bummed about, man. I really was digging going through and editing those, but we're going to release the entire, like, whatever it is, 4 hours, 3 hours or something, all as one. I probably won't edit it very much, so there'll be a lot of us like kind of sitting there going like, okay, what do you want to talk about next? But that's cool. I figure the people who are going to sit through that are going to be like you guys, where you don't care anyways, you just want to hear what he has to say. So
you know that I'm wicked into the long form raw kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The only thing I would put, and it's the same thing with me, like as I'm going through some of edit, like a 3.5 hour tight edit is better and is received better than a 4 hour full on raw, right? So it's
yeah, sure.
But on the other hand, I know 100% it takes you 8 hours to go through 4 hours to cut out a half an hour.
Right. Right.
And that's if you're good.
Yeah, exactly. Probably the extent of the edit will be stretching it out to see all the audio and just like cutting out all the dead time when we're not talking, because there's a decent amount where we're both just kind of like looking at our notes and trying to figure out what to roll into one topic to another. So that stuff I'll definitely cut out, but some of the or whatever, there are a couple of times where Carson says something and he's like, hold on, let me start that over. And so I may have to go back and do that. So he does, so I don't make him mad by like posting all the stuff that he said. Hold on, let me start that over. But all right. Well, yeah, no, I have no travel. I have nothing to offer. I didn't even show what tattoos I'm doing this week. I'm working on all existing tattoos, but all cool tattoos. And I finished a full sleeve last week that turned out like I spent like an hour just going through and hitting my darkest darks. So I got some nice healed photos of it, and I'm super happy with it. So I'll try to get it up at some point this week. Big kind of sleeve of flowers right up Jason's alley.
Yes.
Yeah,
awesome. Cheers, man. Well, hey, thank you very much as always. And
yeah, man.
Thank you,
guys.
If anybody's interested in getting the reinventing, it's you have a code here for this. It's
Fireside. Yeah, people have been using it too. I appreciate that. Thanks, everybody. That helps us all. Helps Guy and Gabe. Helps Fireside, and hopefully helps you.
It's pretty fun. It's reinventingthetattoo.com/fireside to get 10% off.
Yeah. And I'll just since we were talking about Carson, you can do it. You can use the code Fireside and get that Numa 4 as well. I've been using the hell out of that machine. I really love it. It's 10% off of it.
Also, and that's at NumaTattoo.com?
NumaTattoo.com, and just at checkout, use the code Fireside and it'll drop 10% off of that. And right now, I think he's sending them with all of the different cams. And he's unlike Andy, Carson is responsive. And so if you ask him what cams to use for what, he'll tell you what you should, he'll set it up for you really. If you just say, hey, I just bought one of these things, I do black and gray, soft work. How should I set it up? He'll set it up for you with the proper cam and all that kind of stuff. So, but cool,
now,
man.
Are you finding that you're using the same machine for everything, or are you
I am.
using multiple?
You'll have to answer that after your gym cycle or how you got a boogie, right?
I do, but I am, to answer your question. Yeah, I'm using the same machine for almost everything. I do switch the cams out, mainly between the 20, the 28, and the 40. And let's talk about that next week. I can kind of go through and say what I'm using it for. I don't know that it'll translate, but cool, man. You guys have a good week. We'll see you then.
Take it easy, man.
Take care.
All right. Bye.
Cheers. And then you guys on for a little bit, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've got a little bit longer. I can hang out.
Yeah, we're down.
Cool.
We'll be hanging out and painting today, doing some oil painting at the shop.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And you guys are in Normal, or you?
Yeah, she came down to Illinois.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. We got to do a tattoo together yesterday.
You're actually all real people.
Yeah.
Not just YouTube characters. It's crazy.
No, it's wild, man. More than these little like squares on the phone or the iPad, right? So.
Yep. Yeah, I remember back in the old Tattoo Now forums. It's actually kind of a rough story, but when I first realized that the computer characters were actually real people, I guess fuck it, I'm telling the story. So this is whatever 15-ish years ago, right? And the Tattoo Now forum was jamming. It was like fucking 500 a million people a month through the whole site. It was tens of thousands, 50,000 maybe on the forums. They were rocking. And there was this one dude, fucking Taz was his nickname, and he would be on there all the time answering people's questions and whatever. He had a lot of time on his hands. Maybe he was right 60-70% of the time, but whatever. It's just an internet forum. And after a couple of years, or it was probably like a year or two, like all of a sudden it became really clear that like you couldn't find much of this guy's work online anywhere, and so he never actually, like, you couldn't really look at his portfolio anywhere, right? And eventually it became pretty clear, he was definitely not like, again, he could repeat some things that were accurate, but for the most part, he just didn't, he was off. He wasn't quite right. And or at least not in alignment with the way that I perceive the way that the tattoo world should go or whatever. And but whatever, it's a open forum. People can say whatever the fuck they want to. And a couple of years go by, and then all of a sudden I get a phone call from someone. Hey, how are you? And I had no idea what the guy's name was, but it was like, say, I'm John from the forums. I'm like, holy shit, John from the forums. You're like a real person on the phone with me. Wow, this is crazy. And he's like, yeah, and I don't know if you know me from the forums. I'm like, of course I do. And then in my head, I'm like, wait a minute. And he's like, yeah, I'm the guy that, went across country to apprentice under Taz. And I was like, wait a minute, I think that's what I read on the fucking forum, but there's no way anyone would do that. You haven't even seen Taz's portfolio. Yeah. But like, I remember reading about it and seeing this shit happen online, and again, it was like, so kind of, I was still disconnected enough that I didn't realize this was a real person that was, moving across country to go apprentice under this guy Taz, who was kind of wrong 40% of the time, and never showed his portfolio. But so so I'm like, this is all connecting in my head how this is actually a real fucking story that actually really happened. And he's like, yeah, I just want to let you know that I'm leaving, wherever the fuck it was, and Missouri, Illinois, I don't know, somewhere. And I'm leaving. I got a fucked up sleeve from Taz. He tattooed my sleeve. He wanted to go like, whatever, all freehand, no stencil, kind of. Robert Hernandez does it, so why can't fucking Taz from the middle of nowhere? And so all of a sudden, this guy's like, I don't know how young. It was not very old, but he was like, I just want to let you know, I picked up my life. I moved across country to apprentice under this guy because I bought his shit, and now I've got a fucked up sleeve. No money. I'm stuck in the Midwest. Man. And I realized, I was like, whoa, okay. A free open forum, can actually do real damage. I guess not everybody has the right to say absolutely anything on anybody's forum without there being some sort of responsibility or repercussions from the owners. I guess, again, it's not like I made the guy fucking drive across country. It's not like if he had asked me my opinion, I wouldn't be like, I definitely wanted to purchase under anybody. If you haven't seen like an awesome portfolio from him. But people are so desperate to get the fucking opportunities, and some of that stuff just seems like magic. Oh my god, I was on the Tattoo Enough forum and I got an opportunity to go get an apprenticeship. Right. Like all the other, like some of the other people whose stories I read about or hear, because there's more legitimate ones and illegitimate ones, I'm sure. But anyways, that was one of my first realizations. So then I had to end up creating the conditions so that Taz got run off, or not run off, but he ended up leaving, understanding that he couldn't just spout off shit all the time anymore. And it's kind of funny, I won't even bother mentioning names, but when that Tattoo Now forum exodus happened, when we kind of, Taz ended up having to leave, he brought a lot of people with him. And there's one supply company owner in particular who was part of that kind of Tattoo Now revolution or whatever. Tattoo Now fucking just sell. Oh, anyways, there's I'm bitter about with some people over a decade later about the way that went down, not because I gave a shit about the forum, but because some of the things that they said. And anyways, yeah, it's good to see that there's positive relationships and partnerships and collaborations that are happening, because that's what it's really about.
Yeah, it's been pretty surreal, man. And last week I got to see Jason. I got to meet him in person. We worked on a big ass tattoo, and this week we're hanging out with Kirsten. It's been fun, man. We'll be hopefully heading down to Florida sometime in July.
Fuck yeah, catch up with Bruno.
Yeah,
yep.
We'll go hang out with Bruno.
Awesome.
We had talked about going to Disneyland and stuff, but I think what we're gonna do is just rent an Airbnb down by the beach and hang out for a few days and paint and tattoo each other. Maybe. Yeah, man, it's gonna be great.
That's awesome. Bruno's cool. I got to meet him in person over at up in Rockford. We were doing the convention. Him and Stefano came out, check out the venue, and
yeah, I like that venue.
That's pretty cool. Did you been to Cliff Breakers or?
Yeah, we went with I went on that, what was it, the Off the Map?
Oh, cool.
That art gathering. Or the I can't remember what was it called. Like you guys just had everybody. Gogway was there talking.
Oh, the art retreats. Yeah, so we did. So this is a different venue that we're talking about. Oh, we're talking. The Tamiya in New Mexico is fucking unbelievable. Yeah. Eagerly anticipate going back to there, but that is kind of like one of the reasons why it was so nice. It's like a rich person resort, and I kind of fast talk my way in. I was definitely presenting a fantastic event in a beautiful location that is generally outside of our price range, and in fact, it did take us about 3 years to barely be able to have that in our price range, and but as soon as we're back there, it was a beautiful fucking venue. That was a really good time. So you said Jeff was there. Who else was there? I wonder what year it was.
Nick Baxter was there. I think I posted it on the RIT forum. A picture of it. I think it was 2000 and what was it? I think maybe 13 or 14. I can't remember.
Was Alex Gray there?
No, not that time. No.
Okay. What if that was the last time that we did it? So maybe Chet Zar and Gabe Leonard. Chet Zar, they were usually there.
No, it was what's his name from Italy? Portrait artist. I can't remember his name.
Alex DePasse?
Yeah, that's it. Alex was there. He had to get a translator that time because he was like having difficulties with some of the translations of tattooing. As far as there not being like any real, words to use in Italian.
Now I'm okay. So now I'm misplaced. This is not the Tamiya in New Mexico. This is this really weird venue outside of Chicago for the Worldwide Conference.
That's what it was, a Worldwide Conference, yeah.
Worldwide Tattoo Conference. Yeah. That was a funny venue. I forgot exactly where it was. Yes, but we're going somewhere different.
Okay, cool.
That was kind of neat. That had like a little, it was like a fake Bourbon Street.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, exactly, man.
We do find quirky venues sometimes.
It works, but as long as the gathering's there.
Absolutely, it was great, and the people that were there were awesome. That was a real good time. I remember, who else was that? That one I believe was Damon Tesh, who hops on sometimes from Humboldt County.
Okay. Awesome.
He made it to one of the after hours parties, and that was fun. Those were great shows. I keep asking Alex to, bring some of those back. We'll do it before too long. Right now, obviously, everyone's just still dealing with pandemic.
Right. Yeah, I had a good time, man. Yep. So, but yeah, we'll get Jason down there in Florida. Get him on the beach.
Yeah, that's not something anyone wants to see. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I think it'll be a good time, man. Need some shorts.
You leave me in my hot pants alone, dude.
Banana hammock.
I don't know if I'd be able to leave him alone necessarily, but
Well,
no. Anyways, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun, man. I'm looking forward to it. Like a nice little.
Have we figured out? Are we gonna do Miami or are we gonna do Orlando?
I think we're gonna do Miami. That way we can just stay away from the whole Disneyland thing and just chill.
Yeah, I'm about it.
Yeah, eat, paint, draw, celebrate. Yeah, celebrate 2 birthdays down there too. So it'll be killer.
Very fun. Yeah.
Yeah, we also have Ricardo and I are actually getting together for the Gettysburg Tattoo Convention, the Battlefield Tattoo Expo.
Yeah.
That's coming up in the beginning of July.
Mm-hmm.
And they're actually all sold out of booths right now, which is awesome. And by that point in time, Pennsylvania, if I'm understanding the news correctly, should be back up to full capacity.
Nice.
So it should be a pretty good showing.
Nice, dude. Yeah, I'm super pumped about that as well.
Yeah, that's cool. I guess we might have to open up maybe one well, we'll see. What if we could open up a tattoo room in October, we will. But right now everyone's still a little jittery, so we can play it by ear.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I can't wait for that either.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a unique event. Everyone's basically gonna come share a little bit. We could, if we do seminars or webcasts like this, if people charge for their seminars, and the house will take a small registration fee. But I think we're gonna keep it pretty simple, and then webcasts. We'll have webcast tickets available, and yeah, that'll be fun to catch up with everybody in person again. Holy Moses, it's been a while.
Like, yeah, kind of nerve wracking a little bit, but like, let's do this.
Yeah, nah, my nerves aren't right. The more fucking kicked around you get, the harder it is to rattle your nerves, I guess, right? So,
Yeah.
Again, frankly, for me, we had a 10-year anniversary Paradise Gathering show that had gotten canceled. So this, or at least, starting to get into the routine of doing events again gives me an opportunity for next year to do the Paradise Tattoo Gathering official, like full on again, and then make up for some of the tickets that people had bought and didn't get refunded. So it's like not even nerve wracking. It's more like it's like a giant sigh of relief.
Yeah.
It's although I think I was maybe saying earlier, it's like a giant sigh of relief, and then it's also like, oh shit, that means that officially there are 2 full-size tattoo conventions in the works for next year. So sleep is going to start becoming even more of a commodity for me.
Sleep? What's that?
Well, it's necessary, the brain, while you're sleeping, the brain fucking,
Does its thing?
processes, it does its thing, it reconnects the nerves, it puts the nutrients where they're supposed to go. Sleep isn't something that high performing people often sacrifice. But on the other hand, it's a matter of optimizing the amount of time that we're awake, I suppose, to make it work for me. Although I've gone through plenty of years of sleep deprivation to make shit happen too.
That sounds like a familiar place, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. But so the venue that we're doing the Rock River Tattoo Art Expo near Chicago is Cliff Breakers. And so that's like it's a hotel on a river. So there's a whole wall of glass windows looking out onto the river and this big ass deck. Nice. And then downstairs there's a lot of rooms for all the educational stuff, for all the Reinventing live, and there's a full hall, or like a I didn't go to fucking much school, so I don't know what do you call them? Not conference halls, but like lecture halls. There we go. It's a lecture hall. And so it's literally, it's designed, to do, lectures with 80 people, 120 people in it. And, with the seating and desks and all that. And then, it's pretty cool. It's not that far from the Chicago airport. Lineup's fucking spectacular. Fucking, here we go.
Radical. Well, that'll be fun. That'll be some nice scenery.
Yep.
Ricardo, are you planning on going to that one?
I think so.
You should probably just skip. It's probably far from what is it, Rockford, Illinois? How far could Rockford be from Normal? It's probably not worth the trip.
About 2 hours, 2 hours north, a little over 2 hours maybe. Yeah, that's too far away.
Maybe. Well, just see if it happens again the following year.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. Sorry, that's not my favorite. I do often hear people like when a lot of the Paradise shows we'll do 2 or 3 years in a row, but then we'll take a couple of years off. It's kind of mix it up a little bit, and so everyone it's crazy how many people are like I'll just do that next year. Wait, you're not doing that? No. Sometimes we'll bring some of them back, but
let's go, man. You got a place to stay, Jason, if you want to come out.
Are you going to try to touch me?
No.
Then why would I go?
Okay.
What would be my incentive in that case?
Beer.
Yeah, but I can get plenty of beer here.
That's true.
Ladies of the night.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I'll probably make it out to that one as well. And then I'm also looking at seeing what's up for some of the conventions in the UK, like Edinburgh. I'd love to make it to that one. Maybe one out in Munich, or there was another good one I was looking at.
Rome's
Barcelona,
happening
I
this
heard,
year.
is pretty good. Where?
Rome's happening this year in September, I believe. We got a fucking
Yeah, I
killer
went to
lineup.
the Rome show a few years ago, and it was all right. I mean, it wasn't. I didn't think it was, the best show I had ever been to as far as like promotion and the level of artists and all that stuff. I mean, there were some good artists there. Don't get me wrong. In fact, that's where I met Phibbs. But I was there mostly on vacation and wasn't really like hardcore into like, okay, who's working at this show, like what's going on. I got a lot of business cards from it, people that did some solid work. But if it's run by the same people as it was before, then I might be interested, but I wasn't a huge fan of the venue, to be honest with you.
Yep. Yeah, I have no idea if it's the same people that did that. I know that whatever they're posting up on Facebook is fucking awesome every single time. And
Really?
but yeah, I have no idea the venues or the producers or I think there's one of the guys co-produces or produces a show in South America also, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, mostly I see the fucking artist list come through the Facebook feed. I'm like, if I could get over there, would be a pretty cool spot to hit up, because if it's the same place or same people, then the lineup is definitely much improved.
Okay.
Who knows? There's a million people in fucking Italy to run shows too.
Yeah, but I mean, even just being in Rome itself is just an incredible experience. I've been there a couple of times, and every time I go, it's just absolutely phenomenal.
Nice.
Actually, I may go to that one because I'm pretty sure I still got to have a free place to stay over there.
Yeah, sweet.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's one of the many incredible things about working at my previous job in a previous life, is that where I was working actually had a satellite campus in Rome, Italy. So it definitely had some perks. I actually was offered a full-time job at one point in time to move over there and do like some of the IT support stuff for what they were doing. They're like, you'd only be working 4 hours a day, but it would be 4 like 12-hour days. And I was just thinking to myself the whole time, like, wouldn't be able to tattoo over there, so probably not.
Small compromise, man.
It is.
Small compromise.
I have made many sacrifices to be able to do what I do today. Like that time I let you sneak into my room, Ricardo. Like,
and here we are.
Right.
Okay, well, it's 10:30. Maybe it's time to give a sign off, and we'll catch up with everybody in the future.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sure, man.
Cool. Who wants to go first?
We're doing it anarchist style.
All right, fine.
My name is Ricardo Sturdivant. I tattoo in Normal, Illinois. I got my friend Kier Franklin here with me this weekend.
Hello.
We're gonna be doing some painting and stuff today. We might throw it up on the forum. You can check me out on Instagram at Candor Tattoo. Give us a follow. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Hi. I'm Kirsten Franklin. You can find me on Instagram at Frankie Says Things. I'm here visiting Ricardo. I'm originally from Western Massachusetts. Give me a follow and a shout out. We're doing some cool things for apprentices soon, so keep a lookout on the apprentice forum. on RIT or on my Instagram. It's gonna be super fun. We're doing it with Amy Nichols. She's super cool and fun and really helpful towards apprentices. Yeah, it was fun hanging out with everybody.
Cool. Hey everyone, my name is Jason Liser. I lead the Sunday afternoon drawing groups with the Reinventing group. Feel free to check us out. We have a free app where you can get notifications about when we go live and all types of other fun activities that we have going on. Yeah, if anyone's ever interested in jumping into one of these, or you have an idea for an episode or something you want us to discuss during another session, feel free to send me a DM on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @PhillyInk, and I'm always down to discuss tattoos and all types of awesome art stuff. Gabe, as always, thank you very much for hosting. Yay, no technical difficulties today. But
yeah, we sacrificed enough. Luckily, we did figure out what it was yesterday, so that won't happen again. Anyways, thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to be hopping over to the Needle Jig channel to do an interview with Renee Little. Tonight at 9 o'clock on Reinventing is the subscriber exercises. Then let's see, tomorrow at 1 o'clock p.m., we're going to be doing a checking in with tattoo artists around the world. We'll be beaming in with Lokesh from India and 3 awesome artists. I'll be working on the thumbnail right after this. Yeah, there's just tons of stuff. Go to community.reinventingthetattoo.com or Reinventing the Tattoo at either of the app stores. And then we will see you